This video is sponsored by Square Enix. Alright, enter your chance to win a copy of Marvel Avengers, your choice, PlayStation or Xbox. All you have to do to win is subscribe, leave a like and a comment on this video. Welcome to Marvel Avengers, it's Abyss, and in this video, I'm going to show you my Captain America build and go over all the gears, skills, and abilities. Okay, so starting with the gloves first, and I like the first Avengers set, which you can pick up by completing Hive missions. The first perk on here will extend the duration of the Brooklyn Brawler by 2 seconds. I have this perk on another piece of gear, so we're going to extend it by 4 seconds. And then the second one is power attacks will inflict particle damage. This is a random stat, so it might be a different elemental damage. And then the last one is a 200% increased willpower regeneration from Commander Call. This is something I use a lot and it lasts for 18 seconds. Now I'm going to show you examples of everything once I get to the skills and abilities, but one thing I recommend trying to look for is might on your gear. This way you can increase your melee rating. Okay, so moving on to the shield, and this is another first Avenger set that you can pick up from the Hive mission. First one is increased damage dealt to weak points by 25%. The second perk is an elemental damage, so this is random. And then the last one is recover 5 points of shield block energy from successful range attacks. Okay, so moving on to the chest piece, and this is the armor of the Nomad. And you can pick this up by completing vault missions, snowy, forest, desert. And this one only has 2 perks, but again, we're going to be extending the duration of that Brooklyn Brawler by 2 seconds. So now we have an extra 4 seconds. So this is going to last a total of 30 seconds. I'm going to go in more depth about this a little bit later in the video. And then the next one is a 15% damage reduction when Commander Call is buff. So the Commander Call will last 18 seconds. It is extremely easy to use. All you do is hold block and press your power attack, which is triangle on the PlayStation. And for our last piece of gear, it is another First Avenger set that you can pick up from the Hive mission. It has 2 perks, and the first one is a 10% increased damage from Brooklyn Brawler. I absolutely love this perk. And the second one is an increased charge rate of the Heroic Ultimate ability by 18%. So that's going to help us get our Brooklyn Brawler back faster. And it has Might on here, so that's going to increase our melee rating. Now with the artifacts, this is going to be more of a personal preference that's going to help you with your personal playstyle. But what I can tell you though is look for things that's going to increase your might so that your melee rating will be higher. This is going to be more hand-to-hand on-the-ground combat. We're going to be using the Brooklyn Brawler a lot, Rally Cry, and Commander Call. So you do want to have that might up as high as you can possible. Okay, so I'm going to go over a couple of the primary moves that I use the most. This one right here is the Shield Strike. I like this one because it has high damage, high impact, high stun. I'm trying to set myself up for takedowns as much as I can possible, which I will go over a little bit more in a bit. So let me show you a quick example of this move. Next is the Commander Call, and you just saw me use it a couple seconds ago on that last enemy. This is something you want to use as much as you can possible. It will last for 18 seconds, and then our perk on that one piece of gear will further reduce the damage taken. And another move is all the way to the right. It's called the Powerhouse. After you parry, you're going to press the heavy attack button, which is triangle on PlayStation. What I like about this is it has high damage, high impact, high stun. So let me show you a quick example of this. Okay, so now let's go over to the support heroic ability, which is the Rally Cry. On the left side, I went with the middle one, and so for this one, you will have a reduced incoming damage. So with the Rally Cry, you're going to have increased attack to marked enemies. So now we're going to have reduced damage now. And then I went with the bottom one over here, which is critical attacks on enemies marked by the Rally Cry. It deals 15% bonus stun damage. I want my stun to be as high as it can possible. This way I can do takedowns more. Okay, so moving on to the Assault Heroic ability. And for the left side, I went with the bottom one, which is increased stun damage dealt by the Steamroller by 25%. Now, I also did try this one right here, which gave me 2 charges. But I kind of prefer with my playstyle to have that stun damage. But either or is good to use. And for the right side, I went with this one, which is every 2 enemies defeated with the Steamroller generates a heroic orb. So I want to get my abilities back as fast as I can possible. Next is the ultimate heroic ability, and the Brooklyn Brawler, you're going to be using this the most. So on the left side, I went with takedowns can be performed on critically wounded enemies. And then on the right side, I went with takedowns extend the duration of the Brooklyn Brawler by 3 seconds. Now let me show you this in action. Alright, so what I like to do first is the rally cry, then the commander call, and then I'll activate the Brooklyn Brawler. Because the takedowns will extend it for 3 seconds, plus we can perform takedowns on critically wounded enemies, we're going to be staying in the Brooklyn Brawler for a very long time. And I have it to where my takedowns will spawn a heroic orb. So even if I do happen to come out of the Brooklyn Brawler, most likely there's going to be enough orbs around that it will refresh all my abilities. Okay, so moving on to the combat, and then on the left side I picked the middle one, which is increase the stun damage of all attacks by 15%. In the middle, I took this one, which is increase the critical attack damage by 15% of the light and heavy combo finisher. And then you just saw earlier, performing a takedown will spawn a heroic orb. You saw how many that were on the map, so this way I will be able to refresh all my abilities. Alright, so moving on to the range attack. So for the left side, I went with the bottom one, which is increase the speed and damage of all shield throws by 15%. And then on the middle, I went with the bottom one, which is increase the stun damage of range power attacks by 15%. And then the right side, I went with the middle, and that is 15% chance to generate a heroic orb when defeating an enemy with a headshot. And the last 6 are going to be up to personal preference, but I'm going to show you what I recommend. I went with this one, recovering 40% of shield block energy when performing a takedown. We're going to be doing a bunch of that, so I figured that would be nice to have. Then I went with this one, which will reduce the penalty of 2.5 seconds before the energy will regenerate. Then the one on the right, I went with the increase the maximum amount of shield block energy by 15%. Alright, so for the last 3, the one on the left, I went with the bottom one, which is increase the duration of the captain defense by 8 seconds. This is for your commander call ability, so I definitely recommend this. And the one in the middle, defeating 2 enemies with the commander parry will refresh the shield block energy. And the last one, while the captain charge buff is active, melee and range attacks will break enemies' blocks. Alright, there you have it. That is my Captain America build. If there's anything else you would like to add or any other legendary gear that is better, then please leave it in the comments down below. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel, and I will see you next time.